Hey guys, thanks for watching. So as my 5-lug swap drags on, I've gotten to the point where I need to connect the brake lines to the master cylinder so that I can start bleeding the brakes. The problem is, this here is the original proportioning valve on the Fox body. So there's 2 ports, and that's what's going to hook up to the master cylinder there. So we have this 3rd brake line here on the Fox body that hooks up to the bottom of the master cylinder. But this is a 2-port master cylinder. So we're going to be dealing with that extra brake line today. So I'm going to show you guys the best way to do it. I know there's a kit that LMR and eBay and a bunch of people sell, which is basically a 3-way valve, and you end up hooking up that brake line that's on the master cylinder to that 3-way valve, and then you hook it up to that bottom line, and then basically you end up with a setup that looks something like this. All right, so it makes your engine bay look like that. You got a whole mess of lines going on, and you paid $89 for that, right? If you did that, don't feel too bad. It's fine, you know. I'm gonna show you guys that haven't done that how not to get finessed. So the best way to do it by far is you're gonna need to take a trip to the junkyard, and you're gonna need to find yourself one of these. This is a proportioning valve from a SN95, so 94 through 2004. Okay, and basically you're gonna have to find one without ABS. They're more common than you think. I found a lot of them. I have actually a couple of these just laying around. And you're also gonna need the brake line on the driver's side of this is only gonna work if it's a 94 to 95. Okay, you can make you know, 96 and up work, but you're gonna have to bend the line. So once you have this, you know, you actually don't need this whole piece. You only need this valve and the spring that's inside, and I'm gonna show you what to do to your proportioning valve. Alright, so you could definitely do this way easier if you just leave it on the car and do it, but since I have access to it and it's already halfway disconnected, I'm gonna go ahead and just remove it to be able to show you guys the process, okay? Alright, so I got both proportioning valves sitting here side by side. This is the Fox body one, this is the SN95 one. As you can tell, both proportioning valves are almost identical. The main difference is going to be on the Fox body, one of the ends is blocked off by this plug here, and on the SN95 there's actually a fitting that has the provision for another brake line. So this brake line here, the one that hooks up to this fitting on the SN95, goes to the driver's side caliper. Okay, so when you go to the junkyard and you find an SN95 with no ABS, you'll find this fitting here on the proportioning valve. What you do is you'll just have to undo it, remove it, and also make sure that you get that spring that's in there, okay? Because this spring is actually a different length than the one that's on the Fox body. All right, once you have this here, you can actually go ahead and convert your Fox body proportioning valve to use 3 lines instead of just 2. All right, let me see if I can get that out of there. There it is. That's a little spring, and that's what I mean. You see, this one's a little bit shorter. So now that you have your spring and your fitting, you can just go ahead and use this to bolt that driver's side line onto. Okay, so I added the spring and the fitting to the Fox body proportioning valve, and now it's ready to accept an additional line for the driver's side caliper. Alright, so I got the brake proportioning valve sitting back in the car. So the only thing left to do now is to remove this old brake line and install the correct SN95 brake line and just basically bolt it in place. Now, if you're really cheap, you might wonder
if it's possible to reuse this line, if you could somehow just bend it and make it fit in there. The problem is the thread pitch on this one is a little bit smaller than the one on this one, okay? Technically, you could get away with buying a thread reducer from I believe it's M12 by 1 to M10 by 1. But come on guys, just buy a brake line, you know. I'm above all that. I'm not gonna show you how to do that. Alright, so now that you've seen me hit my low point on cheapness, I'm gonna go ahead and bend this brake line, bolt it up, and we're technically ready to go, guys. Alright, well, you look at that. So there is such thing as a brake line bending tool, alright? But if you already saw me go this far, I'm just gonna be honest and tell you I bent it with my hand. So we're gonna stick it back in there. Hopefully that's where that has to go. And I'm pretty sure that's pretty close. Alright, so I'm gonna find a way to thread this in and tighten it up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like after. Alright, so check this out. You can see there that the problem is gone. It's been dealt with. I only need to connect the two lines to the brake master cylinder and we're good to go. Alright everyone, so my master cylinder upgrade is basically completed, and as you can see, it looks exactly the way the factory intended it to look. I didn't have to pay over $100 for an aftermarket company to clutter my engine bay, and I just showed you guys how to do it with an adapter I got from the junkyard for less than $3. If you like this style of content, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. And if you're a father, happy Father's Day. Thank you guys for your time. Take care.